So the BACB, in their 8 hours supervisor training, they really know that giving feedback is important. And I don't think it just is limited to BCBA. So I think that the 6 steps I'm going to outline now is important to anybody. So I always tell the story that when I first became a supervisor, I had to give feedback to somebody we used to manage in the past. And it was my first, I had never seen a video like this. I never got any feedback about how to give feedback. I wasn't trained on it. So I just sat there and the feedback went on so long and the person felt bad for me. I think they could just, I felt like a skeleton. It was that bad. I was like, oh my God, I just don't know what to say. And the person finally just said, okay, I think you're just trying to tell me that I made a mistake, right? I was like, yeah. So he kind of put me out of my own misery because I wasn't used to giving feedback. I went from being a peer to somebody who was giving feedback. So it's hard if you're not getting training on it or talking about it and you're just expected to do it. It's not easy. So that's my favorite just from personal experience. All right, so the first thing the BACB says is to provide an empathy statement. So that's step number 1. For instance, hey Brett, I know it's tough making it to our 11 o'clock meetings because you have so many phone calls, but, or however, something like that.
So you can explain empathy in different ways. It's just that if you tell a parent of a child with severe autism or anyone, actually a coworker who's not in your situation, and you say, if you say like, I know what you're going through as an empathy statement, that could actually piss people off. They'll be like, no, you friggin' don't. Do you have a child with severe autism? No. Do you have a parent that abuses you, that you grew up with, that sexually abused you? No. I'm just getting deep, but I'm just saying, like, you may want to say, I can't even imagine what you're going through, because it must be really hard. What's worse for your relationship as a mentor, or shit, it could be a spouse, whatever relationship it is, what's worse? If you don't give it, you hold it in, and then later you throw it out there at the wrong moment when you're a little bit frustrated or angry, or they make the mistake 4 or 5 times and then you finally say something. So in other words, that person feels like you were holding out on them, and your relationship is more strained because you didn't give the feedback immediately, and then they felt like, damn, how long are you gonna let me keep making the same mistake? You just want me to look bad.
Step 2 is to describe the ineffective performance. So now you're getting straight to the issue. We're not kind of spending too much time on the empathy statement, so it might be as quick as, I know it must be tough, however, you've been late 3 out of the last 5 sessions, or XY, or whatever.
There's times that you're gonna wanna tell someone, look, between me and you, look, I haven't really seen this or witnessed it, but you need to know, because I give a shit about your future, there's a perception by many people that blah, blah, blah. Because perception is, you know, they say perception is reality, but perception, it doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate, but people need to know the trend of how they're perceived. Because if influencing behavior is about how the listener perceives you and your expression and the impact that it has on behavior is critical. So it's like perception can be very different, and people will understand that, look, you know, it might not be the reality across the board, but there's a perception that this is a factor that's concerning.
Okay, step 3, everybody, which is what Rocco was talking about. Provide a rationale for the change in performance. So if I say, hey, I know it's hard to get on 25 at this time, however, you've been late your last 2 sessions, and now if we want to talk to the person about a rationale for a change in performance, this is where we're saying, but, or however, this is important because those 3 minutes every day is a critical piece, because that's a transition from the bus into the home, and you're missing that, or that 10 minutes may not feel like a big deal, but you're missing that. Good.
I always bring it back to like the branding, like DiNovi, like you're representing DiNovi, and all of us are like together as like one unit, one family. So if you're slacking off, like a person like way up north, like they can be like, oh, I saw DiNovi staff down south like doing this, and then DiNovi staff up north, they got the same perception. Like I always bring it back to that.
Me too. I'm with you, man.
All right, step 4 is providing instruction and demonstration for how to improve the designated performance. how could that be a challenge for being on time? So step 4 is me providing instruction and demonstration for how to improve the designated performance. How does that look like for being on time? Saying something as simple as, just leave at 4:15 to make it to the house by 5 may seem condescending. Again, your tone is going to be important, but some people, that's a challenge for them.
So I can guarantee you this, like if I'm gonna give you feedback on something, and tell you if I've experienced it, it's because I've immersed so deep into trying to perfect it myself, and I'm not expecting that you would have to be that way. I can guarantee you that I haven't worked harder. There's no one that will outwork me on that issue. I don't know how to put that, but like when I meet with other CEOs like I did today, and I'm comfortable telling them things they don't want to hear, because I won't be outworked on that issue. I will work so hard until doesn't mean I'll be perfect at it. Like I'm not gonna portray something that I haven't worked really hard at, and I can guarantee you that if I chose to work on it, I will not be outworked by anyone that I ever meet. Will Smith had a good statement one time. I like referencing him because he said, if I'm on a treadmill and you're next to me, I will not be outworked on that skill if I chose it. So if you choose something, be really good at it. He's like, if I'm on that treadmill and you're on it, only 1 of 2 things are gonna happen. You're gonna get off the treadmill first, or I'm gonna friggin' die on that treadmill.
Last 2 things, folks, is opportunity to practice. So I think where we make a mistake sometimes is we give feedback, but we don't allow an opportunity to practice. So provide the opportunity to practice, which for being late might be, all right, I'm asking mom to text me the next 3 times you're coming. I'm giving you this opportunity to see if your next 3 sessions you can be on time. I know you can do this. I've given you the tools, I've given you the app, and now I'm gonna expect that at 3:30 you're gonna be on time for your next session. And then the last thing, guys, is provide immediate feedback, which might mean, great, you showed up on time, or the very next time you're late, another conversation. All right, so it may look like that, but at that point, like Brett just talked about, you've tried to see things their way with an empathy statement. You've told them exactly what's going on. You've been late by 10 minutes the last 3 times, or you're not collecting this data, or whatever it is you're doing. A rationale, hey, it's important you do this because mom's been late for work, because it's just important, because these 3 minutes or whatever. This is how you can be on time. Let's practice. And then feedback and follow up when you're done. So I'm not saying this is like the end all be all in terms of feedback, but the board gives us a nice process, which I think is what people are sometimes looking for in terms of giving feedback. They just want to have a process.
My biggest weakness used to be, and I don't do it very much anymore, used to be that I'd fire off an email, to make sure it was immediate, but I was a little bit emotional when I did it. Don't let the immediate thing get in the way of making sure it's calculated. I usually suggest sleep on it for the night. Certain things, because I used to fire it off. I'd have a beer in one hand, and I'd be like, this shit's immediate, You're gonna know exactly what I think. And then next day I'm like, oh shit, man, I didn't, so sleep on it for the night. When it comes to written feedback, sleep on it. I feel more comfortable in my skin for 2 reasons, like giving undesirable feedback, or I like calling it constructive feedback to make someone better. Like for 2 reasons. I didn't really feel that good about it years ago, because I was back in the day, I don't think I walked the talk enough, and I would be giving someone feedback on something that maybe I did wrong in the past. But I feel like if every single day you wake up and you're trying to live exactly your values that you're also encouraging someone else, and standards and ethics and integrity, it's so much easier to give someone feedback.